So this is totally and completely plausible, like a machine, a robot, kind of like one of the Mars rovers goes out with a giant 3D printer for a gun
Yeah.
and builds houses. Yeah, that's totally plausible.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, veterans, and all you amazing people with open hearts, steady hands that take care of us veterans. Welcome to another episode. You got it, Heart of Volunteer Veterans Podcast. Hey, today we're going to be having a light veterans chat, talking about some space. So stick with us. Here we go. Hey, all right, folks. Hey, so a couple months back, I got a chance to sit down and talk with my Air Force veteran neighbor, Matt. He has since graduated and moved on, but I got a chance to sit down and talk with him, and the conversation evolved into space and some of the, the science behind what we know so far. And, of course, anything with space speculation, which is kind of what we talked about. We talked, space travel, survival, and living, and, and whatever else kind of came up. A light smoke, light conversation, really, really laid back. So enjoy the episode. And this is in preparation for a little bit of a kind of a sci-fi, one or two episodes are going to be coming up in the future. One will be when Dune comes out. And that will be Mark Miller and I coming on, and any other veteran that signs up for it to come on and have a chat after Dune, the remake, comes out. So if you're into sci-fi, it's going to be a fun episode. If you like Dune, or you've watched Dune, or you've read Dune, which is a great series, then that might be the episode you might want to come on and be a co-host for. So reach out to us and let us know if you want to do that. But what I've got for you now is the recorded interview or conversation that Matt and I had a couple months back talking about space travel. So please enjoy. All right.
That was very polite, by the way.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. It's very sweet.
All right. So rockets are not the answer.
No, dude.
And why? So, okay, if rockets are not the answer, then what is the answer then? What is SpaceX and Blue Sky and Sir Walter Branson, and what are they doing wrong? Where should they be focused?
They're not doing anything wrong. So relatively, they're using the best capable quality materials and stuff that money can buy. They're using the best technology of the time. Right. So, relatively, they're not doing anything wrong. But in the long term, for like super space travel, sustained space travel at that,
deep space travel.
Well, not even. So the Mars mission that they're trying to get going, it's a one-way trip. Like sustained space travel, being able to just go back and forth to the moon, regularly, or to Mars regularly. You need not a combustible engine, basically.
Yeah.
So they talked about on that YouTube show, the Kyrgyzstan or whatever.
The Courage what?
Kurzgesagt. It's like German or something.
I don't know.
But anyway. But they talk about like the Dyson sphere, and you need like some sort of perpetual energy device, something that so that runs on
itself.
Yeah, somehow.
Yeah.
And it's powerful enough to, get you to and from places. That's like one of the biggest obstacles that we face as humanity is getting off this planet.
Is a completely 100% renewable resource. Powerful.
Essentially, yeah.
Well, you'd almost have to, because you couldn't stop at a planet and be like, hey, let's go ahead and load up on some coal and let's go ahead and let's bust the crust here and let's get some gas out.
Right. Let's capture this asteroid so we can mine it for minerals.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to have that.
Right. No.
So you, like you said, you're going to have that ability to.
So that's what something like the Dyson sphere is, right? So essentially, it's a giant glass mirror type thing that circles the sun. And this is this is me just totally kind of guessing on it. So don't,
I like that.
But so essentially, it's this web or this big mirror basically that we basically channel the sun's energy to power our stuff. So that way we can, it's called, like I said, it's called the Dyson sphere.
Yeah.
But that's they say that's what the video said was one of the if we don't go extinct or some junk, that's our next move is to get out to space.
Well, do you think that when they're talking about the way that the planets within our known the planets that we know, that the sun at some point was super smoking hot and reached all the way out to the planets on the very edge and would have provided life at that point. And then as the sun has slowly decreased its energy value, the planets have slowly died as the lights have dimmed and the heat.
I thought the sun was getting bigger though. Is that not what?
I don't know.
So basically what you're saying is...
Because that's interesting. If the sun is increasing in size, then...
But it's not putting off as much energy because it's bigger. Just because it grew in size doesn't mean...
There you go then.
Its energy output also grew in size.
Yeah. So that would be the thing. We should be looking forward. What's the next planet? Venus?
No.
Is that way out there?
It's so after Mars, you're probably gonna go to a moon of some sort.
They did talk about one of the moons.
Yeah, like one of the Saturn moons or whatever. Yeah. I don't know what the name of it is.
I want to look up the picture of the universe.
They just released a picture not too long ago of
black hole.
No, well, yeah, but of the entire known universe.
That's what I want. It's the solar system. So Venus, huh? That's too close.
Yeah, you gotta go that way.
To Jupiter.
Well, one of Jupiter's moons or one of Saturn's moons. So
I guess Mars is kind of on par with us.
So I think Venus technically. So they have that. What is it called? The habitable zone or whatever. It's an area in distant galaxies that's the perfect. What they say, the perfect kind of ring.
Perfect storm exists.
Well, right, to create life, right? So and then you got Earth-like planets and all that sort of stuff. So I think Venus is within our solar system, technically within that habitable zone.
Let's look that up, man. Now you got me. What's this called? The habitable zone?
Yeah, something like that. In astrophysics or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if it's astrophysics. Where conditions are best for life on Earth.
Planets in these areas are the most likely to have extraterrestrial life. And what planets are we talking about? What are those planets that are there?
I know it's us. Is that us highlighted right there?
Yeah.
The Goldilocks principle is something that must be within limits, not too hot, not too cold, but just right. Damn. A planet must be neither too far away from nor too close to a star and galactic center to support life. Either extreme would prevent a planet evolving life. Such a planet is colloquially called a Goldilocks planet. So we're really, really lucky, aren't we?
That's the general consensus is
Yeah, we need to do some mushrooms.
is-
Talk about that.
yo, decriminalization in Denver. Can you
I love
believe
that.
it?
I love
That's
those Denver
fantastic.
people, man. They're crazy, but I love them.
Oh, it's good stuff. I love it.
Yeah, dude, that's nuts, man. That's nuts.
So, but those are like, we're still talking like billions of light years away. So, like, we've got to, again, develop some sort of perpetual energy device to even, and then figure out how to fold space time.
Yeah.
Because,
I
we
was.
can't.
So check this out. I was talking to my barber, Chuck the barber there, and he was asking me about Mars. And I said, well, your best thing to do is take your best scientist and almost like the Ark. So they get pregnant in space, or they're pregnant when they leave. And then as soon as their kids are able to talk, instead of them teaching them all this other stuff that they're going to learn, just like through existence, or they don't even need anymore because there is no civilization. So our contact with them is different.
Right.
They have to almost learn everything that their parents know within like the first 15 years of their space travel, and then start to develop new things that their parents never even thought of by the time they hit the ground. And by the time they hit the ground, they need to be prepared to start reproducing again. Because by the time they get there, their parents are almost going to be dead.
Right. So, yeah, okay. So,
And the next spacecraft still, you could start sending all right, we'll send 100. So you send 100, a wave of 100 scattered across,
So first you got to terraform. You gotta make the planet livable.
Well, you got to get to the planet first.
Well, yeah, okay.
With the people that have the ability to do that.
Right.
That have the knowledge.
But it's unlikely that you're going to be able to terraform the planet and start a civilization within the same generation of life.
Right.
So you're going to probably have to go several, generations of scientists and all that sort of stuff.
Building knowledge.
Yeah, to go up there and terraform to make the planet livable in any way, shape, or form, which is also incredibly difficult because the dust is like ultra micro thin, so it gets into like spacesuits, and like you're basically going to have to live underground. And
Those cameras have done pretty good on the rover.
Yeah. But it's still like there's like a whole like science. Well, I don't know what science. I don't. But there's a thing behind like how thin the like dust is that it starts to mess with things. It gets into your lungs.
Yeah. So what do you think about the idea of, because you can't go there with a whole lot of material.
Right.
I mean, you can't have hey, we're putting the ship together and the ship's sole purpose is to transform into a city or something like that.
Right.
That's big. But can you go in there with that? Well, I mean, you'd have to find water.
Well, right.
You'd have to find water, but could you use the dust and some kind of chemical reaction to create there was a machine that set right here, and another machine out here that collected up all the dirt, just scooped it,
right,
and dumped it into this mixer, and the mixer brought it up to this arm, and this arm was computer operated, and it basically just kind of sprayed the walls, and just kept building layer after layer, like a printer. Like a 3D printer.
Right. Oh, and
it's using the material that's around it. It's using the actual dust.
Right. I get what you're saying.
Brought into a solid form.
Well, I don't think
do you
anything
think
like
about
that
that?
exists.
We can do it though. We can do it here. Let me show you. Let's see, 3D house builder.
Right, but I don't think we have anything that can turn the Martian dust into a usable.
I know that's our thing. It's like,
material.
can we get after that? What's the dealio?
So when it comes to like terraforming, so obviously we're gonna send like robots and stuff first anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So this is totally and completely plausible. Like a machine, a robot, kind of like one of the Mars rovers goes out with a giant 3D printer for a gun.
Yeah.
And builds houses. Yeah, that's totally plausible.
I mean, look at this thing. I mean,
yeah.
Actually printed house.
So here's the problem with this though, right? That shit's gonna be like airtight.
well, I'm sure there's some kind of, because what they're doing is they're making that concrete.
Right.
There would be like kind of like that foam. You know what I'm saying? Where they could ship maybe they could take the chemicals there, separated,
right.
just for that. But it's got like we've developed an expansion rate that goes from like, a cup of coffee could fill this room.
Right. but
and it's completely airtight, because when it shrinks up, it closes itself off and becomes hard. And then from there, you can plastic the inside, plastic the outside, and then
does something like that exist?
I think so.
I mean, so you can do it with like foams that expand, but those foams are still porous, so they're not going to be airtight.
Well, I mean, you'd have to come up with another chemical that filled those gaps.
Time of printing amounted to 24 hours. Soon,
But I think if you took, I mean,
such as
what if you had a machine out there that was pressing at 100,000 pounds? Like literally, it's like it would print like an Egyptian-sized block. And so you scooped up all this dirt, dump it in this hopper. It comes down, and there's like a press that takes it and presses it all down into
Super
a super dense Egyptian square. And then something picked it up and put it in place. And it just kept building these blocks.
its cost is comparable with
A lot of those were kind of airtight, weren't they? Or no?
I would have to say that the density would make them.
Well, no, like the pyramids. The pyramid, like when they opened them up,
Yeah.
those are airtight, aren't they?
But here's the thing. I mean, I think if you went with something 3 foot thick, you can still get on the end. I mean, if it's got like enough room as, a football stadium.
Okay, so but then how are you going to do like seals for like doors and stuff?
I mean, that's what you're going to have to, build into it.
Right.
But now you've got a frame against the elements. Now, if you go in there and you make like a little tent city where if you're inside this,
Oh, so you're thinking like a Great Wall of China like scenario?
No, well, it doesn't have
to keep those Mongols out.
it doesn't have to be that big. But if you have, if you've got your walls, because you're looking at storms that you don't know about.
Right.
You're going to break against those storms to protect, your research and everything you're doing. But if you can build that up so you've got, a complete covering, now you've got people on the inside that have the ability to live with a little more, comfort of living, being able to walk around out of their suits, maybe. I don't know what the conditions are there. I'm just saying, you can make life a little more predictable, a little safer. What do you think? Am I thinking far-fetched? I mean, we are in space.
Yeah.
And we are high.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. No. I don't think that's entirely plausible. I think it's going to be some sort of maybe 3D printed, but it's going to be some sort of metallic device, some manufactured. We're never, ever, ever likely you're going to be able to breathe on the planet.
What is that planet? Do we even know?
Mars, if we're talking about, I thought we were talking about Mars.
Yeah.
So, like, as far as like oxygen,
Yeah.
no, like it's like
It has no atmosphere.
yeah, well, no, it's got an atmosphere, but its atmosphere is like 78% CO2 or something like that. Like,
So this is where the Arnold Schwarzenegger
totally
movie came
a
from,
guess,
where
by
they
the way. That was
they
a wrong
dumps push the heated rods into the ice cold core of the planet, and produce oxygen. Is that what we need to do? I want to find out what's going on.
So it's unlikely that would work. It's a cool idea, but I think it's unlikely that would work. We'd have to.
Hey, I can only speak about what I know.
Yeah, I know.
Even if it's Hollywood.
I'm into it, man. I like it.
That's why they call us the third rock from the sun.
Yeah.
Gotcha. The last terrestrial planet, which is able to be habitable. It's on the edge.
Or it was habitable at one time.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah. Because it's in that habitable zone.
What do you think, man, would be like you're the last person? What is that? What's that look like?
I don't know.
Go to Mars right now the way you know it, because the way you know it is probably the way the last person saw it coming.
And be like alone on Mars?
Yeah, not know it, but you're completely alone.
So have you seen there's a book called The Martian?
Martian Chronicles.
No. This is just called The Martian.
Martian.
Yeah, and there's a movie, like a Matt Damon movie.
Yeah. I've seen that.
Called The Martian. And he's basically stranded on Mars for like 2 years or some junk.
Well, he knows that there's people out there. I'm talking about the last Martian that looked out and didn't know what was out there. Didn't know that we were out there just starting to stir in the freaking cosmic juice.
I get what you're saying.
And they're like, what the fuck? And then they're the last one.
So I get what you're saying.
That'd be crazy, huh? Because I doubt the planet went dead everybody simultaneously. Unless we were all teleported. We're all Martians and we were teleported from there to here.
Or the planet was like scorched instantly.
I don't know. I don't think evidence points towards that.
Well, I mean, we don't know. Like, I don't.
They've never. Well, the thing is that they've never said that. They say it in the movies, like this is a planet ender.
Well, right, but like, well, I mean, that's assuming that there's Martians, which we don't know of.
Well, they're probably not Martians. They're probably call themselves something different.
The closest thing we've found to anything remotely linked to life on Mars is they found like some bacteria or something like that.
Well, that's the thing, man. A billion years.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I mean, can we say that it's been? A billion years probably since. Like if we're looking at when the Earth finally started to get like the sun was pulling far enough away that we weren't cooking anymore.
Right.
We were out of the oven. We're cooling off. We're starting to develop. Mars is dying. So billions of years ago, it was at its waning as we were coming to life. As our planet was entering the habitation zone.
Well,
am I right?
No.
I'm not. So what?
So you got to think of it this way, right? Mm-hmm. So what's actually happening is as a solar system, mm-hmm. we're actually imploding. We're actually sinking into the sun. So the sun is a gravity dense object, right? So mm-hmm. you can so space time is basically flat, and something that's really heavy is gonna bend it like it's on a sheet or something, right?
Right.
And so us on the outskirts of that are falling into this shit.
So you're talking about the penny donation machine at Walmart. You slide it on the inside and it all comes to the center.
Right.
That principle.
Right. So we're actually moving closer to the sun. So
the density of the sun pulling everybody in towards it.
Right. So as opposed
we're all-
to like
we're
the
all getting
Big
closer.
Bang, as opposed to like the Big Bang,
which is an expansion.
right? Which is the expansion, which is actual space is yes spreading, right? And like galaxies and things like that are getting farther and farther away. But space is so huge on our cosmic scale that spreading is imperceivable, right? So in our kind of small world, we're still sinking into the sun.
Yeah.
So eventually the sun, as I know it, that's what I thought, I thought it worked.
So that's why we're looking at Mars. We're looking to jump back because Mars is going to move into the habitation zone.
So maybe that I don't know. That would be so
Because that would be crazy if the closest planet to the sun just pulled it right into it.
right. So
That's nuts. I mean, we'll never see that.
no, yeah.
I mean, I will, but I mean, you won't be here to see that shit. But
Right.
we'll be here. We'll probably be on Mars, reincarnated as
So that's
like a four-legged.
that seems to be the kind of the general consensus of what. So we're not going to be staying on the Earth. The planet's not sustainable. We're not going to sustain Earth for long periods of time. So if we're going to survive as a species, we've got to go out
Right.
and try to colonize space.
Now, what do you think about that?
I'm into it.
Aren't you ready for that?
I'm into it. Yeah.
Now-
I'm a kind of an adventurous guy. So.
Yeah. So let me ask you this here: when you think of the limits of space,
Right.
does it confuse you? Be honest. When you think about like the limits of space and like you're trying to like put it into words and like explain it, does it confuse you?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And I've thought about it a lot.
Yeah.
And every time I think I get like it's almost like meditation where it's like I'm almost Buddha.
Right.
And it's like, no, you're not. Oh shit. It's like, you know what I mean?
Give
It's
me
the
one of
same.
those koans, man.
Right.
Just need a koan just to get me there.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you almost understand, but then you don't.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah,
it's frustrating.
Wait.
But that's how I think about space, man, and like the amount of knowledge you have to have just to like just imagine like the space movie where the person's like floating out in space and they're like, I have to do this, and they cut their suit. they put like a tourniquet on and they cut their suit so they can get like
and control. Yeah.
airflows like, to use like propulsion to get them back to the ship. And I'm like, I wouldn't think about that unless I was like
Life or
trained.
death?
Unless I was trained that way. I'm thinking like if you throw like Earth Chris into that
Sure.
situation, it's
Okay.
like, and I was dumped out with the trash in my spacesuit. I'm like, what the? And, and somebody's like, get this fucker off the ship, and they threw me in the trash and dumped me out in space, and I'm drifting away. I wouldn't think like, motherfuckers, I'm coming back, and start cutting my fucking spacesuit to get back. Like put a tourniquet on, lose my arm and shit. Had to break my arm off and like sling it so I can get propulsion to move. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah, got you, didn't I? It's nuts. But the thing is, man, it's like I'm overwhelmed by the idea, and I almost get I really do get the impression that on the ground here on Earth, fight for my life to the very end. But up there, there is a limit, and the thing is, that's where
Fuck it. This is it. I'm done. It's over.
Yeah, and that's
is
where
how I end.
But you know how that comes back to here. It's that whole thing we were talking about, just like a house out in the fucking woods,
Right.
isolated. Because in the end, that's really how you are. You're alone and isolated.
Right.
And if you can get used to that, and still keep people around, because you still need people.
Right.
And you make contact when you need to. Or you leave the door open for a few that can come in at any time and like contact you. But other than that, you're living the best version of you that you can.
But you're drifting in space.
Right.
So you've only got a couple hours left to live anyway.
Yeah.
So
But space time, Earth time, we're talking, the later half of your lifetime compared to those 2 minutes. but you're just alone. But you have to come to the realization in those 2 minutes that you are absolutely alone.
I don't know, man. But
I'm not
what
making
about
any
the-
sense right now.
No. But what about the, kind of going until, going out swinging type thing? Like.
But what if you don't? But the thing is, what if you don't know? Like right now, you're drifting in space. What do you do?
I don't know. Struggle.
Against what?
I would.
There's
I
nothing
would
to struggle. You can't.
flail about in space.
You can't. It's not like water.
Well,
You
no,
can't
I know
make
it would-
any. You can't make your own propulsion from like wiggling your arms.
Well, yeah, but it would still, the motion of wiggling my arms would still at least.
Would use up oxygen, slowly sedate you.
Right, but at least it makes me feel a little better. Sometimes you got to get that anxiety out before you can think clearly. It's like a pregame dump. You know, sometimes you just got to get it out.
Yeah.
And then, things start clicking.
I don't know. I don't know, man. That stuff kind of scares me. And even I don't mind the day to day, like when I watch the space movies and stuff, sci-fi movies, the day to day on the ship.
Right.
I don't like the whole, like being put to sleep. Everybody go.
Cryo sleep or something.
Everybody go to your station.
Right.
And they freeze you.
Yeah.
Or put you to sleep, and it's like, I don't know what's going on.
You're a guy. So the people that end up going on the Mars mission, if and when that ever happens, I know there's like timelines and all that sort of bullshit, but if and when that ever happens, I mean, that's essentially what's going to happen is they're going to get sent to Mars, and that's it.
Yeah, colonizers.
But they're not even, it's unlikely that they're going to, because one, it's probably going to be mostly males. Two, we're not technologically savvy enough to start colonizing, because I think the Mars mission's basically just a death sentence. Like they're just going to send people up there to, that's why. Well, so that's what SpaceX is trying to do. Mm-hmm. Is that's why they made the rockets so they can land or something like that. So
right.
so theoretically, maybe you can get a mission there and back.
Right.
Because I think in all of time, it's only like not all of time, but like travel time from like Earth to Mars, it's something like 18 months or something like that.
That's not bad at all.
Right. So 18 months to get to Mars, stay for a month, in a semi-permanent habitable thing.
Yeah. I'd sign up for that. 18
months coming back.
New Mexico just approved is it JetBlue? Is that Branson's Orbit? Blue Orbit?
I thought he had Virgin.
Virgin Galactic.
Yeah.
New Mexico approved. They're in the desert. The Earth's only and first space helipad.
Really?
Yeah.
Space helipad.
Let's look up Virgin. Virgin Galactic, New Mexico. Popped right up. This is what they're putting in. A heliport that they can do like a spaceport. Spaceport America. Where they can like launch long range.
Is this for their space tourism stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Would you do that? If you had the $650,000 or $1.5 million?
I would work on that.
No,
No, I wouldn't go on the trip.
Be a space tourist?
I would be a worker on it.
So space fully sketches you out?
No, it doesn't.
Oh.
It's the part that sketches me out is being like, Earth is gone and I have to live in space and they give you your jobs and they're like, Chris, you have to be a mechanic. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll work down here. No, Chris, you work on the outside. I wouldn't like that.
Oh, I see.
You know what I'm saying? Have you seen Snowplow?
Like
the train movie?
Oh yeah. Snowpiercer. Yeah.
That's how I'd feel. I feel like I'd feel like all in the back of the fucking train and shit.
Yeah, well,
I wouldn't like the bottom of the fucking
pull up
pile.
freaking marks and revolutionize, baby.
No.
Power to the front of the train.
I gotta tell you, brother, if we're in space,
Doesn't sketch me out.
it doesn't sketch me out, but like the power that can be wielded if you own space. I fear being under that umbrella.
I see.
And I'm not talking about like Darth Vader and all that kind of imperial.
The Empire? No, this is where we're going.
But the thing is,
the Empire is basically what you're saying.
Because I look at it this way, it's like the first country that goes out and gets and harnesses space, they are going to govern the earth.
So that's the problem with it, right? So that's
because they could bend earth to their will, and the thing is that government could be off of earth, completely off of earth, but we control earth. So whatever resources they want from earth, they can get from earth. Now we're talking, man, this is like thousands of years.
Yeah, it's not something you're going to have to worry about.
This probably isn't 1,000 years. This is probably a couple of hundred years, to where there is like the world is united.
Well, we do have, but that would be
where
cool.
there's one government and it's not even on the planet because the planet is falling apart.
Well, that would be bad.
And then there would be a city out there. There would be heliports, but it was every time the heliport was operating, it was sucking up resources from the planet. We were basically killing it by trying to move off of it, instead of us just living on it with what we have this very moment. Don't increase by any, and we can live.
It's not gonna
happen.
No, it's not gonna happen. I mean,
so in order for us to get out there, do you agree that in order to operate one of these spaceports, that it's going to suck up? I mean, unless we can import resources from around the galaxy and bring it in to operate them. But now the math is ridiculous.
As of right now, all that thing's going to do is it's basically Richard Branson's personal spaceship garage. That's all it is right now.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
but what about the future?
In the future, maybe, and that would be awesome. I think now if you're speaking politically, that a lot of what you said would suck ass.
I'm not talking politically. I'm talking about like humanly. Like your own freedom is now.
But I don't think that'd happen. I think so. So the idea is an intelligent species is going to be more peaceful. Is the idea, right? So if we're intelligent enough to start doing like that, and intelligent enough to unite the globe under one human race, basically, right? It stands to reason that if we've done all that, it's not. If we've made it that far, it's not out of malice or things that cause wars or political or something. If we've achieved that, there's a lot of great things. If
we're not doing it as a conquering species, but doing it as a species that is just advancing itself.
Right. So we're always going to have that conquering instinct, right? It's as humans.
Until we get our shit kicked in.
Right. So what's going to happen if we manage to overcome that conquering instinct and unite with each other, we're just going to focus that energy essentially to conquering space, to conquering anything we encounter. We're a go-getting species.
Yeah. Do you think survival plays into that? Do you think that's how the Earth unites, is the fact that we have to in order to survive? Or do you think we fracture because we have to survive?
Oh.
Which, I mean, in the movies where they talk about like the world government, and then you've seen other ones where the whole world is fractured. So which way does that go?
I don't see it. I personally, I mean, that's kind of dark, but I see it going to shit. Hell in a handbasket.
So you don't see like world leaders coming together,
no,
electing one person,
no, because I don't think we are evolved enough as a human race to
even with survival
conquer that. No, because
even with us on the brink of where we all agree there has to be regulations.
No, there'll be holdouts.
Yeah, people have to do it on their own.
Yeah, there'll be holdouts and everything.
And not everybody will do it.
Yeah, and it'll be about
tragedy. They call that the tragedy of the commons.
Yeah, yeah, man. It'll be, it would be cool. Like that would be the awesome way. If something, but I don't see that happening. I see the human race. What's going to happen is I see it as we destroy each other, basically.
Yeah.
And if anybody manages to survive, it's going to be because we managed to get to space and slightly colonize space before destruction, or they survived nuclear winter for, and managed to evolve underground or some craziness,
Yeah. It wouldn't be a lot of people.
Right. That's if they all, anybody survived. So I think there's a more, call it violent end in mind for the human species. Like I don't see it
getting better.
Yeah. So, but I also, who knows, that could be next year, it could be 1,000 years from now, and I could be totally wrong, but that's just it's. Yeah. I have a bleak outlook on humanity.
So that's another. I mean, and I think you and I are in the same wheelhouse when we talk about like just having those kind of like a quiet life.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, I like to talk to people, but I don't like to be around a lot of people.
Right.
And I mean, I would love to just have a place out in the woods with power. Endless amounts of power where I could podcast from.
Right.
Cell and internet, big internet. And this is all I would do. And guests that wanted to come,
right.
They would, like in the winter, they'd snowmobile in.
Right.
Summertime, they take a Jeep.
Would love it.
But there's a Jeep in town. I'll leave a Jeep in there. So They come in, they take the Jeep out. They bring some supplies when they come. They take the Jeep back into town. They park it. Someone puts some gas in it. I've got that all figured out. And
I think it's brilliant.
And I just stay out there. And people come and people go.
I think it's brilliant. I would love, even if, being able to like just stay in like a sustainable house too, like on some land in the mountains somewhere, like you said, like that would be, I'm with you on that. Yeah. Like just hang out,
Well, there it is, folks. A nice, easy hump day episode. I know I didn't introduce it as hump day. I think we're going to get away from that. Just going to start doing episodes. This is episode 51. Episode 51. But hey, folks, that's how it is. That's how it happens. Sat down with Matt, had a conversation, and this is what came out of it. It could have been something different. Had it been another veteran, could have been talking about just about anything, and come up with some kind of conversation. I say that to say this here. If you got an idea for an episode, or there's something that you want to talk about, that you want to spread the word, or it's just it's a light conversation that you are willing to share with other people, then by all means reach out to me. I am all about bringing veterans onto the podcast and having them just co-host with me. Let's have a podcast. Let's have some fun. We've got, we've got the saga. We've got different topics that we cover. If you've got one, bring it. We'll get after it. All right. HOV podcast, the number 7 at gmail.com. HOV podcast 7 at gmail.com. Send an email, send a message on Facebook, whatever you need to do. We'll get together. If you've got Skype, the email address is the same thing as Skype. So send a message on there. We can do a video call through there. We can do an audio call. We can go through Facebook for the same thing, or we can go through the phone. It doesn't matter, folks. Or if you're going to be in the area, definitely give me a ring. If you're going to be in the Oklahoma area, we can link up somewhere and do an episode face to face. That would be a lot of fun. I love doing the ones face to face, which leads me to this. We've got Billy Blakesley. Now, Billy's not he's not a veteran yet. He will be here in a few years, but he is going through something that a lot of veterans are going to be going through, or they are going through right now. That is some very good information. Billy's son goes to school here at Oklahoma State University. He's a sophomore. They're coming here. Billy's going to go to the football game. They got the fraternity dad's weekend type thing going on. So they're coming to town, but they're going to come here to the treehouse, and we're going to have a conversation about what that means, what that feels like, and just kind of give some good information out there for veterans who are sending sons and daughters off to institutions of higher learning. Okay, kind of give you an idea of some of the some of the pitfalls and some of the information maybe they didn't know, they found out later. So good information. Plus, these are amazing people. I knew them back in Hawaii when they were just they were young folks, and here they got their boy in college. That's pretty amazing. So I'm looking forward to meeting up, visiting with them. So hey, so stick with us, folks. And once again, if you got some ideas for an episode, hit me up. Let me know. I don't want to make this show all about me. So if you give me your input, it becomes about veterans. All right, and that's what we want the show to be about. Okay. So everybody, enjoy the rest of your week. Stay motivated. Stay on top of it. Don't give in. Don't you do it. All right. Love, peace, and hair grease. Blessings. Heart of a Volunteer, copyright 2019, baby.